listening to Soul Sexy with Bridgetta and Charles, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hey, you guys. Hold on. Mute, and I have no idea what I'm doing. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Awesome.
I can hear you.
Perfect. Okay, good. I got a late start today because I drove up from San Diego to LA. I feel like I always have a late start. That's just the way we roll. Or I roll today. Charles is back in SD, and we have a super special guest who's on air with us right now as well, Mas Sajady. Welcome to the show, all of you guys. And I'm so sorry we're getting a late start. We've actually got some callers already calling in, but we'll have to hold off on that. They can, if you guys are listening right now, we can take callers, but it will be in a little bit. Let's let you guys talk first. Jeez, I'm kidding. How are you?
It's never too late, Bridgetta. You late? That never happens.
Never. Never.
Perfect timing.
Exactly. I think it's always perfect divine timing when it comes to my world.
Yeah.
Yes. I just, create my own timeline. And if I have food in my teeth, I'm so sorry because I ate in the car on the way here. So there you go. Exactly.
We are so excited for the show. We have Mas on, and I've been dying to meet you and hear about all the magic that you do in the world.
He is definitely.
Oh, thanks, Joe.
Yeah.
You're a frequency catalyst.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one of my names. Sure. I could go with that.
Of many things, right?
Yes, exactly.
I'm a huge fan of quantum physics, energy, vibration, so I'm dying to hear more about what it is you do.
Awesome. Yeah, you guys can ask me anything that you want, Charles. You can ask me some of the deeper questions or even some of the harder questions about, life or how life works and all that. And maybe I can make it clear. And not only just clear, but help you guys and then people that are listening. Just note that I generate frequencies as we speak, so you might feel a little different as we go through the conversation. So
Mas, I'd like to back up. I'd love to back up and just find out about how you came into these gifts.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's been a lifetime, basically, Charles, because I've had 2 near-death experiences, but, a lot of people have near-death experiences. The difference between, now that I look back on it, is that, I was really groomed. So when I had these 2 near-death experiences, they acted as a catalyst or a catapult for me to jump to higher realms. I mean, it's a great way to, some of the science that you'd probably appreciate, Charles, is that, when you can disconnect from time and space, and then jump up a couple layers, right, a couple levels in the spiritual realm, and then reconnect to time and space, your whole world changes. But if you're not prepared for it, or if you're not groomed for it, it'd be like going from kindergarten to like grade 12 or college level, right?
Right.
And that's a lot of education missed. So throughout the years before my 2 near-death experiences, the first one I had my jaw crushed in a warehouse accident. And that really allowed me to see that, we're more than what meets the eye, from what I see, and it really relates to quantum physics. It's like what we exist in today is only 1% of our potential. Our human form is just 1%. The 99% is our higher level or our spirit level or frequencies that create this reality. So, which is quite exciting news. So what I do is I shift people from that 1% potential into the 99%. So imagine how fantastic your life could be if you're living from a higher standard or a higher potential. It's like having friends on the other side that guide you, So it's really cool.
It's so cool. And I've had many experiences, or not many, but like a few experiences with you. And they're always been life-changing. I remember the first moment when we had a session, and that's the thing too, people believe you have to be in person, and you don't have to be in person. And we had one on the phone, and I felt it immediately, and some things were said to me at that time that I I wasn't even aware of. It came from something from my mother, and I asked her about it, and she was like, how do you know that? And I felt a huge shift in my life every time we've worked together, and it's been absolutely incredible. So I definitely want to reiterate to anyone that's new to you to know that you don't have to be in person. It can work through the phone. It can work just by hearing your voice. Indeed, I think it's phenomenal. And so I just wanted to reiterate that to anyone listening.
It'll work on this interview. So I don't need to know exactly what your problems are because I'm not the one who changes you or heals you in any way. It's just that I help you awaken your own internal, say, abundance ability or healing abilities, and then your life starts to transform. So simple as that, really. So Bridgetta, as I've been speaking, your upper back, neck area, I was working on that for you.
Yes.
It seems like you might have issues or tension in that area. So
much
we'll work on that throughout the show, see how you feel.
Thank you. I so appreciate that. And that's funny because I tried to get into a chiropractor this morning, but I didn't. So it all works out because I'd rather have you work on it.
There you go.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm not doing it at a physical level, but at a frequency level, which is much more potent. So, but, the second near-death experience really allowed me to, say, understand the science behind it, so the physics behind how this reality works. So it goes beyond, religion or spirituality, and there's nothing wrong with those, but they kind of stunt us. Right? Because it's about being good, being bad. And a lot of us are really, really good, but then why are we having the lives that we have? Right? So this goes beyond, and it just goes to straight out physics. Like if you do X, then you get Y, no matter if you're good or bad or anything like that. So it's just about learning how to play the rules or play by the rules, and then life becomes abundant for you. It's really that simple, though.
So, beautiful. And what are the main challenges that people come to you with?
Oh my God, it's a plethora of challenges. Whether it's like health issues, relationship issues. Nowadays, more and more businesses or entrepreneurs are coming my way to get to become successful the proper way. Connecting to a higher source, connecting to God or your higher spirit. Anything that we call life, I can help transform. But what I do from the second near-death experience is that I have access to what I call the blue space or the universal database. At that level, I can, just like a spiritual nerd, I can go back in time and see where your programming kind of got messed up. So, for example, say that you got abused as a child, right? It's still stunting you at some level, say, for example. You might have tried psychology or self-help or anything, but it didn't go to the deep level or the core level issues or to remove those issues. So, again, you still see life from a distorted spectacles. So what I do is I go, at this age, X happened to you. Let's help you edit and remove it. And then you see your life from a very different perspective. So a lot like you, Bridgetta. You seem really, really strong and clear. So right now. So.
Thank you. I do feel more clear. It's funny, and I know you've worked with me really hard on this in the past. Finally being grounded in my body has been, and Charles is very aware of this, has been a big thing. And Charles and I are very similar in those ways, but he has done, he's way better at staying in his body. And we've worked on that a ton, and I do feel more clear, and it does feel great to be in my body finally. But that being said, it's like I have a clear goal and safe. Yes, and realize the safety is within myself, not looking forward externally, which has definitely been a big thing. Exactly. And I think too, like you hit it on the nose too with entrepreneurs. Charles and I are both entrepreneurs, and we have I think we both are doing really well in where our direction is going. But it's like how having any blocks that we may have from our past because of what we've been through, or anyone in that matter, what are ways rather, could you help with the collective of anyone listening that may, something from the past may be blocking us to further enhance our career abundantly and to affect the right people. I guess that would be.
So let me give you an example of a real client. So this client, I'm not going to get into personal details, but he makes about $100 million a year. Okay? Very well known in his field, and that's a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
You would think he'd be happy, but totally unsatisfied with his life. So he came to me, and well, as soon as I saw him over the phone, summoned his spirit, it's like, oh, your father never gave you the credit. You never thought you were good enough, no matter if you got straight A's or whatever. It's always like, I got 5 out of 6 A's. It's like, well, what the hell happened to that last day? Again, never feeling complete. So he used never feeling complete to create, say, a dynamic and successful business to anybody else's standard. But because he couldn't, say, let go of that pattern of not feeling good enough, making $100 million and just a super sweet, nice guy, not a jerk or anything like that, super sweet, nice guy, never was satisfied with his life, never satisfied with his relationships. So the money that he's made actually became a burden to him because he's still, say, running that program of not being good enough.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes total sense to me.
He used it as a great. A lot of people do that, right?
Yeah.
So he used that program, which is really fantastic, to, say, create that wealth. But so what I did was, say, help him disconnect from that program, and then so he can actually, say, cherish the wealth and cherish the goodness that he is. So a lot of people, say, want money to just reading your audience, they want money to go, well, if I make X amount of money, then I'm going to be free from my problems. In reality, if you look at the statistics, it doesn't work that way. If you make X amount of money, whatever X amount would be, you just magnify the distortions that you are. Right? Look at those football players. They're on drugs. They're abuse their spouses and all that. Right? Why does that happen? Again, you just magnify the problems. So what I do, and it's called significant success, is like, well, let's work on your internals. Let's help you resonate at a higher frequency. And then your success that you have around you is basically a reflection on how, say, strong you are or how complete you are. And it's amazing because then success is not a facade. It's not like, hey, look, I've got a Rolls Royce and you should respect me. Right. And then you talk to them and they're just, they're jerks or they're not complete. They have all those issues, right? This way is like, hey, look, I have a Rolls Royce because my spirit gave that to me as a present to how brilliant I am on the inside.
That's
again, more significant success. And I think that's what we're all looking for. Not just a bunch of money, right?
No, exactly. I definitely. So, okay, I don't have a problem making the money. I have a problem. It just goes somewhere. How?
I was just going to say that.
How do I?
She's really good at spending it.
I'm really good at spending it. And I know part of it has to do with like the feeling that I get when I buy something. And then like, the next day I'm like, why did I do that? That was stupid. But I would love to work on keeping it. And yeah.
Right. Well, before when I worked on it, and again, we only worked together maybe 3-4 times.
Yes.
If that. But before it was about say creating money, if that makes sense, in a proper way, not like abusive way.
Yes.
And now, okay, you've got the money, money's coming in, so let's help you edit, and then not just you, but other people who have the same issue. Let's help you edit that program. So for you, if you look back, you've just basically copied your father's programming. If that makes sense, where you have to really, say, work your ass off, right?
Yes.
If you don't, then it's like he didn't deserve the money that he was making.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
I can relate to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
generations.
So Charles, you run a. Yeah. So, and I can read you if you want, Charles. So let's remove that pattern where it means something else to you. So basically, the way you got your hair color, your eye color, your skin color, from your parents, right? You've adopted them. It's hereditary, right? It's a DNA structure. So the way you make money, the way you, say, attract your mate, the way you live with your spouse and all that, most likely you just adopt that as well. It's just a template that we take. So for you, again, that father initiative, Bridgetta, is really ingrained in you. So if money comes really easy for you, what'll happen is that you'll be non-deserving. So say you make a lot of money, you'll be non-deserving of that money, and you would have to, say, lose it. Or you would go, look, I'm going to buy a purse to make me feel good, right? It's like, look, I'm worth this much. But then you buy that purse, and then later on it's like, oh, my God, it doesn't make me feel good. And it's like, well, why the hell did I buy that purse?
Yes.
That's where that comes from.
Yes. So, thank you.
Or shoes or, whatever. So, yeah, we can easily remove that since you're on say, the right path. So
thank you. Yeah, and I think like attracting the right people for our careers too it would be a great thing. I notice it. I'm saying no to the things that don't make sense, which has been really hard, even though they may bring money in. Learning how to the boundaries and the wants and needs are huge, I think, for both of us or many people. But so I would love to, and I'm speaking for both of us, Charles, but I would love to have us on the frequency to be able to attract the right ones that should be working with us. I do feel that we all attract like who are supposed to, but like working at a higher frequency to attract those at that level then.
Right. And well, you're on the right track.
Okay.
So again, working on you and then people of the same resonance.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. Say I help you, and again, abuse kind of comes through. So in your audience, not you anymore, but say I help you with abuse patterns. Say I help you remove abusive relationships. So you attract, say, potential mates that would abuse you or not treat you well. Does that make sense? So I help you remove that pattern or that programming that's in you. And then most likely what will happen is that as that pattern gets deleted, I help you delete that pattern, you would most likely attract, say, your worst nightmare date afterwards. Okay?
Oh,
so, and it doesn't mean that it didn't work, but I can't just delete things for you because then I would like own you or control you. It's called free will. So what happens is that I delete the program for you. You attract, say, a mate, or similar, similar, frequencies, or your old, a mate might show up, and then you would see it's like, oh, that person is going to abuse me, and it's not going to feel good if I get into that relationship. So it's for you to say no to that person.
Yes.
And then you confirm the deletions. So with that example, again, in the work that you've done with me, you're at the level that you keep saying no to the people, no matter how tempting they are for you. Okay? If it doesn't feel right, keep saying no. And then let's see if I can just help you do it faster. So the next few you might say no to, and then after that, you'll see a new genre of people that'll come in that's more fulfilling for you.
And that's great because I feel like the last time we worked together, you said there will be the plethora of the ones that will come back again. And that's what I've dealt with all year long is the same ones. And I was stupid and said yes to anyway. And have been playing that game until the answer is no more. And actually it shifted recently where I feel no more. But I am ready for, almost ready for that.
Yeah, I see that you are. You are ready. And maybe it's perfect timing for the show because I can just help you go into that next level where you start attracting, say, the proper people now that you've, say, conditioned yourself.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I don't want to say learned your lesson, but conditioned yourself for another pattern to come in. So. And
it's perfect timing because guess who's turning 40? Oh, my God. Did I say that on air? I said that on air.
You're 40? Oh, my God.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
A very beautiful 40-year-old.
Thank you.
I might say.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Aw. So what advice could we Oh, I'm sorry. And I know you have a couple, actually, you've got something coming up here in San Diego, or not is it San Diego? Something coming up quite soon, don't
yes.
you?
I do.
And I'm looking for the date.
It's called Modern, San Diego, December 3rd, Modern Love Paradox. I don't know all the details, but it's on my website, massajady.com. And then maybe we can give you the details and you can post it on the radio.
Absolutely.
Show, website as well.
I know that I have your website posted just in case, but for listeners out there that, sorry, that want to go, you guys can check out mas-sajady.com just in case they want to choke you out right now as we're talking. But I just wanted to plug that out there. Go ahead.
Or you can just go to Mas Sajady without the dash.
Oh, so, I did.
.com. It'll just forward it. It just forwarded to that website. But the Modern Love Paradox. So what this is about is finding like organic relationships, and then it's not a talk. It's basically a workshop that I help you to, through meta healings. I call them meta healings instead of meditations because they're much more potent than a normal meditation. But I guide you through the process, help you remove some the old patterns of relationships wherever you've got them from, and then turn them more into, say, a more powerful, what I call organic type relationship. So.
That's amazing. And let's talk about your meta healings a little bit, because I know you have your own show, your own podcast that you do, as well as the meta healings. Can we talk a little bit about that, and then when they air and all that?
Sure. So I have a podcast. It's called Exponential Intelligence. It's like why the hows of why, or the why of how life happens, and then how to have it all. So and that's I guess it's one of the most popular podcasts on iTunes.
Yay.
Since it started, which is really cool.
Awesome.
Which is really nice. So thank you guys for that.
Yeah.
The 21-day meta healing that you're talking about is where you meditate with me either once or twice a day, depending on your level. So your level. So if you're, a beginner, obviously the foundational, and then if you're an advanced student, the accelerated. The meta healings is where I guide you into a deep state of meditation. It goes far beyond a normal meditation. It's not hypnosis or NLP or anything like that that we've tried. And normally I can get you into deeper states within just a few minutes, even if you've had, say, problems meditating before. That's the cool part. Because a lot of us try to meditate, but then we can't get into that, sync, and then it doesn't help us that well. So I bypass all that for you. But as you're in those deeper states, I do my part and then help you reprogram again at core level patterns, and help you remove, like family lineage problems, which includes health, relationship, all that stuff. So, it kind of cleans out the slate for you, right? And then creates a strong foundation that you can build upon.
I think that's amazing. So I have a question to you, and this goes for when you were working on an individual or a group in that sense. Does it go back to just this lifetime, or can it go back to further lifetimes if you then believe in that?
Oh, yeah, it goes back to further lifetimes, but I normally don't talk about that because people get confused. Especially in this, in the U.S. or the three major religions, most people don't believe in past lives.
I do.
Because we're brought about in society. So I just say generations, generational patterns, which basically go back, right, lifetimes. Sure.
And how much do you feel like the percent-wise or whatever that comes through like those generations? Is it like the majority of patterns we have? Does it come through those generations, or is it like a 50-50 mix, or like? What do you see normally?
One thing I'd like to stress is that where you are today most likely is not your fault. Okay? So just be mindful of that. A lot of us beat ourselves up. It's like, why is life like this? Why is it so hard? What the hell did I do? Why did God forsake me? All those things. But if you think about it, say your generations, right, 100 generations ago, somebody, say, went off just a little bit, and then generation after generation, right, we got a little more off. So by the time comes to you, basically your accumulation of all the previous people in your lineage. So you're the final product. So just think of all the mistakes people have made, and all the blessings as well. But again, all the mistakes that distort us, right? And all the trouble that people have gotten into that you're still carrying. So I can help you delete all that and start fresh.
That's awesome. And then as far as like people who are empathic, let's say in this lifetime, are you picking up, I mean, can you pick up, like, obviously everything's a frequency. Are you picking up other people's frequencies, which then those patterns become ingrained to you? Or is that like, and how does that work? Is it like who you hang around? You know, they say who you hang around is who you become. Obviously that could be part of it, but like, what about just walking around? Like, if you're empathic, are you like picking it up like a sponge?
There's different levels of people. Yeah. So you could be like minimally empathic, where you can just kind of sense things around you but not absorb them, or you can go to the next extreme, where say you walk into a hospital, or like an apartment building where somebody may have died, and you're so open that those people say just jump right into you, and then they take over you. So some of your listeners who have like anorexia, what are they called, food issue, eating disorders. From what I'm seeing, those are people who are really empathic, and basically they've been overtaken by another presence. And so when they see themselves, for example, in the mirror, they don't see themselves. They actually see a rendition of who controls them on the other side.
That's
Does that make sense?
No, it totally makes sense. It totally makes sense.
Yeah, so that's why you might look at them as just like skinny, right? Bone skinny, and they look in the mirror and go, "Oh hell, I'm so fat." Well, they're actually seeing, say, other person in the mirror, not their actual self. That's how extreme it can get. So,
wow.
I've helped a lot of people with, say, food issues, eating disorders very quickly by removing that other presence, and they recover really well, really fast. Charles, you're kind of an empath. You're kind of like a savior type pattern, if you don't mind me reading you.
Yep.
And you're really nice about it. You're going, okay, let me just take your burden, and then I'll carry it for you for a little bit, but then you want to give back, their burden or their load, but then they never take it back, and then you don't know what the hell to do with it, and then it's like, and then it takes you a little while to, say, get it out of you, for example, and then you reset yourself. The nice thing is that at least you reset yourself. So
yeah, that sounds pretty accurate.
Yep.
Yeah. And go ahead.
Oh, I was just clearing my throat. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I was curious about recently I've been experiencing some digestive turbulence, and a lot of, how we turn on a reticular activation, and then you see and meet and find out that a lot of friends and clients and so on are experiencing a lot of the same things. Any insights?
Yeah. So that burden, right, that I was talking about, just to go further. So that burden actually has weight. It literally has weight. So imagine somebody giving you their backpack full of burdens, and it's about 50, 100 pounds. Now you're carrying it on your back. Does that make sense to you? Because that's what you do. And then, so for you, you would pick up your friends' burdens, basically, because you're in tune with all your friends. So whatever they go through, you would go through, just as a sensor. But you don't have to sense your friends or like that, right? So say if you had a loved one or a child, they got hurt, you would pick it up right away by like pain in the same, say, area where they might have gotten hurt. Again, you don't have to do that. You can do it another way. And I can help you with that. Actually, I'll help you with that now. So So imagine this, Charles. So you've got that burden on your back, right? It literally starts to compress your lower spine from what I'm seeing. I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but as I scan you, the lower, like the small of your back, that's more compressed than normal. And then the nerves radiating out into your, oh, okay. Yeah, so that's your weak spot anyway. And now you've got the burdens pushing down. So the nerves radiating out into your organs, well, they're getting pinched, so your organs can't work as efficiently as they should. So let's see if I can help you. Again, I'm not a doctor, but let's see if I can help you release, say, the underlying frequency, and then also remove the burdens of other people. You're kind of like a filing cabinet, too, from what I'm seeing. You hold on to people's pains, which isn't good for you either.
Yeah, that's not helping.
Or their memory of pain, if that makes sense, too.
Mm-hmm.
How are you feeling, by the way?
A little lighter. A little tightness in QL, like mid back, low back.
Yeah. So as that, say, burden of love, I guess you could call it, because that's the way you see it, right? You would say, your spouse's burdens because you love them, or your children's burdens if you had children, which isn't that beneficial for you nor them. So anyway, as that leaves you, you'll see that, again, feeling lighter, more adept, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's fascinating because, that's been a bit of my evolution, is learning so much from pain and then changing the whole perception around pain as information from the body. And then, and combining that with empathy and the work I do of helping people understand and get back into alignment with their pain. It's sometimes taking that on is
okay.
not
So basically,
me.
you duplicate their pain to help them, right? But then loved ones, you just duplicate them or basically pull their pain into you and hold on to them for them. Again, maybe after this, or if you do a session, I can help you release that so you can sense people without taking on their burdens or pain. You can see it more as like an X-ray in front of you rather than, in you, right?
Right. Fascinating. Yeah, this has been coming on my radar a lot lately. Great.
He's incredible. Like, absolutely.
Yeah, this is fascinating.
You can always find the shifts, like, right away, too. Like, you'll notice it. I know usually, like, in the past when you've worked on me, I've gotten dizzy, and I almost feel it right away. But it's so cool. Like, and even, I think it was almost a year ago, where I saw you last, and we worked on trying to clear out all my exes from Sexus and everywhere else they come from. And I now finally feel in my power, and it's just taking me so much to say no to, but it's like now I feel exactly like where you saw me at that, and then we're like, you're gonna get there once you learn to say no. And I do feel so empowered and in that place now, and it's amazing, and I feel like anyone that has a chance to work with Mas will feel the same way. So definitely schedule a session and come see him when he's doing a talk or the workshops or the medi healings that you do. Are you going to be at Conscious Life this year as well?
Not exactly sure.
Okay.
We've got so many other engagements. We might not be.
That's okay. But you guys can find
him.
We'll
be in the area. We'll always be in the California area.
Awesome. You guys can find him almost anywhere. MasSajady.com. Again, I just want to plug it. It's absolutely incredible. And then as we go into, let's say, the holidays, I feel like, a lot of listeners are out that and we get stressed with those holidays. whether it's the holiday funds, the shopping, the stresses that can come from it, any deaths that, maybe of memory or whatnot. Is there, if there's anything attached to, let's say, the upcoming holidays and fears with people, or maybe a sadness or depression, could we clear that as a collective?
Yeah, of course. We can do a quick 5-minute meditation, meta healing if you'd like.
Sure. We'd love to do that.
That'd be
Do you want to
fantastic.
do that?
Yes.
Yeah, so we can work on the holidays.
Awesome. And happy birthday to me. You can look at clearing out that and then, ringing in the new year the right way at 40. I'm kidding. Anyway.
Well, for you, it's a special time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's go ahead and take a deep breath in. Just kind of settle in where you are, whether you're sitting or driving, or you shouldn't be driving, but sitting or lying down or whatever that you are, whatever position that you're in. And then another breath in. This time connecting to the group. So all those people who are listening or are going to be listening, we all want the same thing, abundance, whatever abundance would be. In this case, a more enriching holiday. So we're looking in the same direction, which creates momentum, right? Because there's strength in numbers, especially if we're looking the same way. That strength will allow us to use the mastermind, as I call it, to really help us pull out of those ruts, those holes that we've fallen into, it can't get out of, and gain that strength to push through those blocks and break through this time around. And then a breath in again nice and strong, inhaling through the nose. Really asking ourselves, how do I connect to pure source even stronger? And again, it's nothing religious or spiritual. You're asking yourself, how can I become my limitless self? And as you do, let's just settle into our spine, our lower spine, the groin area, the organs within. As we think about the holidays. The reason why the groin area, although you'll be focusing in on the groin area on the back end, spirit level, I'll be working on, again, awakening your spirit. And what I'll helping you with is allowing you to anchor yourself and find your identity as you intermix with your loved ones, people, and so on. And as I generate those frequencies that help you shift, that's what you're feeling. Just to clarify, you go back to your family. You literally revert back to, say, the age when you left, if you did leave, right? A younger version of yourself. You've been so conditioned that you just, again, revert to how the family sees you. So as I help you anchor yourself within, again, that groin area, that's where you'd feel it. You will see a higher version of yourself, the real version of yourself, as you go back and visit the family. And then you can see that separation. And then you can see the habits, traits, belief systems that are working in that family paradigm. And then you see the habits, traits, paradigms that aren't working. So you get a clearer vision of what you want to keep from your family and what you don't. And this includes health issues as well. You don't have to age the way your elders did. That's a myth. So let's take a deep breath in. We'll go higher yet. Up your spine. Solar plex, the heart, the chest area. if we do this? What if we could just dump out the heartache from whatever, abuse, people dying, illness, people losing their jobs. I see drunken type families or addictions, things like that. Obviously, you can't release the memories, but the emotions attached to those memories. The spiritually successful or successful individuals, they use whatever situation to learn from, and then they can expand and grow from that situation. There we go. There we go. And again, noticing your breath, noticing the head space. Thinking clear of mind and helping me program clarity of mind. So we come from, I want to say, physics logic or spiritual logic rather than emotional logic, paradigms that haven't worked in the past. There we go. As you entertain the holidays, you will see whether you're new to me or not. Most likely, you'll see yourself from a different light, and this is the reason why. So, noticing your breath, we'll just stay in this space throughout the rest of the talk here. There we go. How are you guys feeling?
Really good, actually.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels...
For Charles, you're really seeing the brilliance that you've always, reached after, but you could never reach. It's always out of grasp for you, but you could see it now. Basically, you're in it. So it makes it easier for you to create it in reality for you. Does that make sense for you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very fast, very efficient.
Feels so good. And I feel like...
Yeah.
A little lightheaded slightly, but light. Like it feels good and empowering. So I hope everyone else out there can feel that as well. That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks. You're so welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
So one thing to know.
Go ahead.
Is that that's not me. That's just you coming into your higher self. That's you connecting to, say, that 99% of yourself. Mm-hmm. I'm just helping you accommodate that. So
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And then as far as people vibrating on different frequencies, let's say, I guess my question is out there's so much hate going on in the world. It's a lower frequency. Mm-hmm. Is there any way, do we have to ask permission to work with other people? Like for you, for example, if you were oh, okay, let's go work on the haters out there. Is it can we just do that, or we have to have their permission to do so? And how can one raise the vibration and that frequency of what's happening today in the world?
Mm-hmm. It's really a great question. Yes, I do it the other way, because a lot of times, say the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
And again, I have nothing against the Me Too movement, but just to do it properly to help them out, is that they're working on forcing other people to change, laws, the way they behave, and so on, right? Mm-hmm. But the best way to transform people is by changing your internal frequency, so you become, in this case, a strong woman, mm-hmm. right? Where nobody can mess with you in the first place.
This is true.
So, and that's the way, I see people transform. transform the world. So if you really work on yourself, really strengthen yourself, you start to become a shining icon, that lighthouse that shines around you, your loved ones, you know? And it's like, oh, look, mom changed. That means I can let go of all the distorting patterns.
Yeah.
Right? Or dad changed, you know, or vice versa, whatever it might be. That's how we really change the world. So working on haters, I mean, you could, but, you know, if you're a distorted example and you're telling other people, you know, to shape up, you know, it's like if I was like overweight and fat and I'm going, hey, you know what, I can teach you how to be trim.
Right.
You know, would you believe me?
No.
Probably not. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
You know, well, look at you, Bridgetta. The patterns that you ran, now you feel strong. So in the pattern that you're currently running, there would be no chance of somebody, say, abusing you, especially as soon as you say, like, finalize this deletion that you're in.
Yes.
Right? You just won't attract that kind of experience anymore because you're not running any of those patterns anymore.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm not saying it's anybody's fault, but if you're running patterns, most likely you'll attract something that will resonate with it.
And that makes sense. I mean, I feel like for me 3 weeks ago, something horrible happened, but that was also momentum for me to be like, no more, speak my truth and lay down these boundaries.
Yep.
And
right.
Yeah, and then at that point is when I kind of started stepping more into learning what the boundaries and speaking my truth actually were. So as of right now, I feel like you're right. I'm in a different space than I was even 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, I feel like I was still trying to give people the benefit of the doubt. And I think that's what maybe a lot of people out there do.
You can't
like,
do that.
I want the best. Like, I feel like I see the best in people and their potential and where they can be. And then that's just not where they are right now. And it's really
not where they are.
Yeah, it's really been trying to learn that, you know, and trying to stay positive in the same, because you want to stay positive and not let that bring you down, but it's accepting where people are at, and that's the reality of it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly,
because you can't, you know, and I know you are, you know, you get the best light of everybody, but you know, if they're it's like, you know, it's like walking down a path. There's a big pothole that you don't want to fall in. If you think the best that there's not a pothole, and there is, well, you're going to fall in it. You know, so that 3 weeks ago, that experience was kind of a controlled experience, from what I'm seeing, by your spirit, for you to say no, stand up, and wake up. So that's what I would call, say, like a learning experience for you, not like an experience before where it would destroy you. Did you notice that you got enhanced and stronger from it rather than destroyed from it like you would have in the past?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was upset and thrown off for a week or two, but yeah, I did feel more empowered. You're right. Absolutely. Yep.
That's the difference.
Okay. Very cool.
So when the patterns show up again after they've been deleted, then that's coming back to that place of power where we get to use discernment and the art of saying no to fully delete that program by choice.
Right. So and that's your free will. I can only, like I said, I can only, you know, just like there's computer files, right? I go, hey, this file is corrupt for you. Right, whatever that file might be, abuse, you know, not making enough money or being ill all the time. It's like, this is the file that I found that's corrupt for you. I'm going to go ahead and delete it for you. And then that little pop-up screen goes, are you sure you want to delete this file? The way you confirm it is that you might experience it one last time, and you go, I don't want that pattern.
Yeah.
And great analogy.
That's that confirmation.
I like that.
And then it deletes.
It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing how so many of us are walking around with these old programs that we took on when we were kids that some of us aren't even aware of yet, that are like, you know, it's like running on Windows 2007 software when it just needs to be updated.
Yeah.
So,
well, we don't die right and we don't grow up right till the age of 6 or 7. So those are like, if you want to call auspicious times, or times where, when you're on your deathbed, so to speak, or years before, you clean up the patterns and then you awaken and you cross over properly. Right? We don't do that. So we come back with a lot of distorted patterns, say the next lifetime. And then we have up to age 7, and this is where almost every kid, no matter how dark the family is, they always go, well, and that's why they ask a lot of questions, right? Where they go, this doesn't feel right. It's like, why are we doing this? It doesn't, you know how kids ask questions? They're actually sensing what should be true for them, but the parents go, no, damn it, you're going to do it my way because, and then it's like, well, they're older, they've been here longer, they must know. So I'm just going to shut off my own, say, programming, right, or GPS signal system that's accurate and go with the parents. And then by the time we're 7, it gels, and then by the time we're at puberty, it's solidified.
I knew that
and then
story.
You run those patterns.
Yeah. I knew. That's not no anymore. Knew that story.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So, is there a way to clear out debt frequencies? I'm kidding. Sorry.
Debt?
Yes. Debt? Yes. Let's clear out all of that. Get rid of it.
That's part of the your father patterns. Money has to burden you.
Okay.
If you think of it, again, you'd feel guilty if you made a lot of money at some level, so you waste it.
Yep.
And then, again, since money or blessings would have to be a burden for you, it's like you would have to pay a high ticket to be blessed with money or be blessed with good things.
Or love.
If you look at your father's, grandparents and so on like that, they probably worked their fingers to the bone.
They did.
And didn't get anywhere, so to speak.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
That religious pattern as well, I'm seeing. If you 2, 3, maybe 3, 4 generations back, right, where you're non-deserving, you shouldn't have a lot of money, things like that. You make just enough to get you by. Otherwise, it's a sin.
Wow.
So
clear, delete,
that's
goodbye.
In your family lineage. So. So
delete file.
So for you, since you make a lot, say you make money, so you would have to be in debt to, again, for money to burden you because you can't say surf on it,
right?
Because it's not right. So that's part of that pattern deleting. Definitely.
That's interesting. And I always and I'm not saying not to make money. I'd love to make more money, but to clear my debt.
Oh no. Well, of course.
Yeah. But
there's nothing wrong with making money.
Exactly.
It just shows the brilliance of where you are. If you think of it from a spiritual, because if I can just talk about this for a minute, because a lot of people think that making money and being good or being spiritual or being, say, evolved are 2 different things. You can't do the same. But in reality, if you think of it at a logical level, your spirit would be complete, right? There would be no lack of any sort. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You would not be in debt, let's say. You would not be corrupt. You would not be in pain or anything like that. An awakened spirit would be, in bliss or complete, right? Abundant in all aspects. So if you're living from an awakened spirit, would you be in debt? Right? So, or would you be at the level that you're awakened to, which would be incomplete, or to the level that you are in abundance? So you would have money. You would have, say, luxury items that would benefit you. And this is a win-win situation. It's not just for you, because, again, it's a reflection of who you are, not a facade of who you are. So it would help others as well.
Awesome.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Where that comes from?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah, but in religion and society, we've separated that, money and purity, right?
Yeah.
As a control feature, by the way, by the churches and
I
so on.
Absolutely believe in that too. And this is, and it's also hard because I grew up Catholic schoolgirl, uniform and all. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
So, yep. Guilt was the way it was.
I did not know that, but I can see that.
Yep. Of course, I don't really believe in that anymore, but I mean, I have my own version.
It still resides in you, though.
It does.
You might not believe in it, but again, those are the patterns that are deleting. So there's a residue of it.
Yeah. Let's get it out.
It's coming out.
Thank you. So we do have to wrap up. You guys, again, can go to massajady.com. I noticed that you are in San Diego the end of November. You've got 2 sold out events, but that's amazing. So congratulations on that. And then there is one that, you're welcome, that tickets are still available, and it's on December 3rd, and it's Moss Live, Modern Love Paradox in San Diego. December 3rd, you can go on the website, and then you are kind of all over the place, which is amazing. So whether you're in Minneapolis or if you guys are listening from Norway, you have that coming up. You're all over. So Fort Lauderdale in February, and constantly new ones will be on the website as well that you guys can see him live.
Yeah, we're all over the place.
Which is fantastic. Or online. And I'm definitely, as I'm scanning through this, I'm like, oh, there's a gluten intolerance clinic. Yay, I'm going to sign up for that. Yes. Count me in. But that's amazing. And I just want to say thank you for all the beautiful work that you do in the world and the time that you take. And there were a ton of phone calls.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, there were a ton of phone calls that came through, actually, and you were just going, so I apologize to anyone out there that we didn't get to. I didn't answer any of the calls. I also was worried that if I hit it, it would hang up on you guys, so I just kind of stared at the screen as they were coming in. So sorry about that. But yes, and then you guys can find Moss online, and then, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. This week starts, I think, the holiday season of everyone taking off to where they may be. I hope everyone has safe trips to wherever that is. And we won't see you next week because next week is Turkey Day. But I hope everyone out there has a great Turkey Day. You guys can listen to this playback online, latalkradio.com, on the video channel. You can download today's episode probably within an hour. You can also check out soulsexypodcast.com, where Charles and I have listed our upcoming guests. And then, of course, massajady.com to find out where the wonderful, amazing Moss is. Thank you so much for being on the program today.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Moss. We appreciate you.
Absolutely.
You guys. You take care.
Thanks for sharing a gift.
Take care.
I hope everyone has a beautiful holiday season, and we will see you next time. Soul Sexy, where your
Happy
truth is
holidays
sexy.
From Soul Sexy.
Woohoo! Take care.
You're listening to